Hello guys and welcome to Python programming tutorials by Amul's Academy. So today here we'll write a program to check whether given year is leap year or not. So before writing the program we need to know what is leap year means. So we'll see that first. According to the calendar, in the common years there are 365 days, but the leap year contains 366 days, one day extra. In the leap year, February month contains 29 days, but in the common year, February contains 28 days. A leap year occurs every 4 years to help to synchronize the calendar year with the solar year. Solar year is nothing but the period of time required for the earth to make one complete revolution around the sun. It actually takes 365.25 days, but the common year contains only 365 days, right? So to compensate this 0.25 days, leap year will occur for every 4 years. So in first year, it actually takes 365.25 days to complete one revolution, right? But in a year, there are 365 days, so 0.25 day is left here. In the second year, and 0.25 is left. In the third year, 0.25 is left. And in the fourth year will be the leap year. So it contains 366 days. That is nothing but 0.25, 0.25, 0.25 plus this 0.25. Okay, in this year also it will take 365.25, right? So that will be added to this. So we'll get total 366 days. So common year contains 365 days. But the length of solar year is 365.25. To compensate that 0.25, the leap year will occur for every 4 years. Okay. So next, to check whether the given year is leap year or not, we can divide that year by 4. If it divides completely, then that means that year is leap year. Otherwise, it is not. To know 4 divides year completely, we can take the remainder of that. That is, we can take modulus operation. If it is 0, then that means it divides the year completely. Then that means that year is leap year. For example, I'll take 2004. Okay, 4 will divide this completely. So 2004 is a leap year. If I take 2005, 4 won't divide this completely. So it is not a leap year. Okay, in this way we can check the leap year. Next, if I check 1700, if I divide this by 4, we'll get 4 ones are 4 fours are, and I'll get 10 4 twos are 2 fives are. So it will divide that year completely. That means 1700 is a leap year. But no, if you Google it, you can see 1700 is not a leap year. Even though year 1700 is divisible by 4, it is not leap year. That is because 1700 is a century year. The year which ends with 00 is a century year, and 1700 ends with 00, right? So it is a century year. So when we are checking for the leap year, if the given year is century year, to find out that year is leap year or not, we need to check another condition, that is that century year need to be completely divisible by 400. If we perform 1700 modulus 400, we need to get 0. If 400 divides that century year completely, then only that is called as leap year. Century year cannot be a leap year unless it is divisible by 400. So here we can say 400 won't divide 1700 completely, so this is not a leap year. If a year is century year and leap year, then that is called a century leap year. But why? What is the need of this condition? Why we need to check whether the century year is divisible by 400 or not? That is because the length of solar year is 365.25 days, right? But actually it is slightly less than this days. It won't completely take 365.25 days. It actually takes 11 minutes less than this day. So that means when I take 1 year, It contains 365 days, 0.25 minus 11 minutes. It won't take 365.25 days. It actually takes 365.25 minus 11 minute. Okay. So in the second year, minus 11 minute. In third year, same, minus 11 minute. In fourth year, we'll take 366 days. That is nothing but 0.25, 0.25 and this 0.25 and the 0.25 from this year. So we'll take that as 1 and we'll add that to here, that is the leap year. But what about this 11 minutes? In each year 11 minutes is extra. So total after 4 years 44 minutes is extra, right? Here also 11 minutes. So total 44 minutes is extra. That means for a leap year, so that is nothing but for 4 years 44 minutes is extra. For 4 years 44 minutes extra. Then what about the 400 years? When we do this calculation, we'll get 44 into 400 divided by 4. So we'll get 4400 minute extra for 400 year. This minute is approximately equal to 3 days. So for 400 years we'll get 3 days extra. So that is nothing but 3 leap years. In the leap years, we'll get 1 day extra compared to common years, right? If it is 3 days extra means 3 leap years. So in 400 years, we'll get 3 leap years extra. To compensate this, 3 leap years is omitted in every 400 years. To omit this, we'll use that formula, that is the every century year need to be divided by 400. If it completely divides that, then only that is a leap year. If not, that is not a leap year. So if I take 1000, 1100, 1200, 1300, okay, this is the 400 years, right? So here in this 400 years we'll get 4 century years, and in the 4 century years only 1 year is leap year. Only 1 century year is leap year, rest is not. For example, only 1200 is a leap year, century leap year, it is not. So to find out the leap year, first we need to check whether that year is divisible by 4. If it is completely divisible by 4, then we need to check whether that is the century year or not. If that is not a century year, then no problem, that year is the leap year. If that year is the century year, then we need to check whether that is divisible by 400. If yes, then that is leap year. If not, that is not leap year. So let's write the program for that now. So here, first I'll ask the user to enter the year. We'll take the input function and we'll ask the user to enter the year. And we want integer year, right? So that's why I took int function, because in Python 3 input function will take input as string, but here we want integer input, and the entered input will be stored in the variable called year. Next, first I'll check whether year modulus 4 is equal to 0. That is nothing but entered year is divisible by 4, whether 4 divides completely that year. If this is true, then only I'll check whether year is divisible by 100. That is nothing but century year. I'll check whether year is century year. If yes, then I'll check whether year is divisible by 400. Yes, then that year is leap year. Fine, right? Else, if year is not divisible by 400, then that is not a leap year. If year is a century year, then it should completely divisible by 400. If it is not, then it is not a leap year. Next, here we can see else for this if. If year is not a century year, if this condition not satisfied, that means year is not a century year, so we can print year is leap year. Because this is satisfied, right? Year is divisible by 4. It can be completely divided by 4. And it is not a century year. That means that is the leap year. Next, this else is for this if condition. If year is not divisible by 4, then that means it is not a leap year. No need to check anything else. So we'll save this program and run. I'll enter 2000. It is a leap year. I'll check 1700 is not a leap year. Okay, so you can check any year here. Next, we can write this program in another way also. We'll ask the user to enter the year first, and I'll store the entered result in the variable year. Next, what I'll do is I'll take the if condition and I'll check whether year modulus 4 is equal to 0 and year modulus 100 is not equal to 0. So here what I'm doing is I'm checking whether the year is divisible by 4 and it should not be a century year. If year is not a century year, then if it is divisible by 4, that means it is a leap year, right? That's why I'm checking this. Or another condition is if year is divisible by 400, okay, then print given year is else not a leap year. Okay, so here if this condition is true, it will print the year as leap year, or if this condition is true, it will print the message as leap year. So here and is nothing but both the condition need to be true, then only it will execute this print function. In the case of or, if any one of the condition is true, then it will print this message. If the year is divisible by 4, if the year is not the century year, then print the given year is leap year. Or if year is divisible by 400, then that means that is the leap year. You can enter yes, it is a leap year. It is not a leap year. Okay. So in this way you can write the program for the leap year. So that's it for now guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will meet you in next class. Till then, take care.